Good afternoon, it's Dr. Christy Hafer, and I had to jump on here because I just got done taking care of a couple different babies, and one whose first adjustment was today. And some of the stuff that I was able to talk to the mom about, that all of a sudden was like, oh, you know, light bulbs are going off of like, I have 3 other kids, why hasn't anybody told me about this before? Or why hasn't anybody explained how this works, how the birth maybe plays into the child's development? So one of the things that we talked about with her little guy who was sunny side up. So instead of being head down, chin tucked, coming out where the soft part of the face and the soft part of the mom, which is behind, comes out for a nice easy birth. So he was face up. What happens? Their little heads in their face, like I'm sure that this is going to be actually, when I do this, I know that this is going to actually be the thumbnail on this video that I do, because Facebook always chooses the worst faces that I make. But anyways, they get squeezed out like this. And what happens when the cranial bones are super malleable, they're really pliable, that's what they do, they come together and overlap during the birth process. So we have several bones and little sutures, and everyone knows the little soft spots on the baby's heads, because those are room for the cranial bones to overlap as they squeeze out of the birth canal, and then they kind of oscillate and come back together. So everybody's known or seen a baby with, you know, a crooked head, where they've got, it's called plagocephaly, where the head is flat on one side. Well, this little guy, when he came out like this and his poor little face was all bruised up, we had a couple different things happen during that process. Not only did it put strain in this upper cervical spine, which is in control of a ton of stuff, including latching, swallowing, all of that, he also had some cranial bones that were overlapping and pushed the sphenoid down and out. So let me show you a picture of a sphenoid bone so we can kind of look at this together. So this beautiful bone, it kind of looks like a butterfly, sits inside of your head. So these right here on the outside, the little wings, are right here at our temples. This, the little green spot I'm going to show you on here, is where the eyes sit. You can see the orbital, I'm sure this is backwards for you guys, but you can see the orbital canal where the optic nerve is sitting. Then we've got a larger part here, the blue, and then all these little wings that are attaching to jaw muscles. So I can access it from the palate. And this little dude, you can imagine his little head getting squeezed out and tipping that sphenoid. He's got a tipped sphenoid, a tipped palate, and so his nurse and his latch isn't great. Neither is the structural and the muscular and neurological control to the jaw and swallowing. So what is he doing? He's getting hiccups. He's getting a lot of air inside of his gut, which it gets to be an upset stomach. What happens when you start getting air inside your belly? It's just expanding it. You think you're hungry, but you've got a tummy ache. It's really upsetting. And then if it can't come out, and our babies' poor little GI tracts are so immature, a lot of people think that there's a weak sphincter and you just gotta wait until it matures itself because it can't hold down this little flap that holds down all of our food into our bellies. Well, guess what happens when there's air? Everything comes back out. So this little guy's even losing it out his nose, and mom thought, well, gosh, I wish that somebody would have told me about the birth process, especially having 3 other children, that things like this can be helped and prevented, and I don't have to have a screaming, colicky baby again because I've got 3 other kids to take care of. And something that we love to do in our office is educate parents on this is how it happens, this is where stress starts, because knowing how and why, for me anyway, is huge, especially knowing that the body is self-healing, it's self-regulating, it's designed to be healthy. If we can get it into the right environment, it's gonna do what it's supposed to do, and babies are supposed to be sleeping, pooping, and eating, and that's about it. They're gonna interact for a little bit of time, but they need to rest, heal, they need to be sleeping to be able to grow and develop. Babies are developing, this is just actually absolutely mind-blowing to me, 1 million new neurological connections a second. 1 million new in a second from birth to 3. So huge, and they need to spend a lot of time in what we call parasympathetic, which is growth and development and repair from any sort of stress that happened during the day. So your parasympathetic nervous system is where you should be when you're sleeping, which is why babies and children require so much more sleep than adults. A lot of us adults miss out on too much sleep, but we all know the cranky little babies and children who are running off of their adrenals, running in their sympathetic nervous system, who aren't developing the way that we are wishing they were, start developing neurological based conditions. And if someone would have told them from the start, maybe even at conception, but definitely at birth, to help these things and avoid all of this stuff is absolutely huge. So this little guy had a blowout diaper. He's so stinking cute. He's gonna be so fun to work on, a tiny little 8-pound baby. But man, you know what? Chiropractic care for them is so gentle. It's very, very, very gentle. Sometimes you don't even know that they're being adjusted because you can just hold, their bones are so malleable and pliable that that gentle force allows the body, brain and body, to start to reconnect the spinal cord to be able to have the mobility that they need, because babies should be in a little C-spine shape. That's what they should have. They shouldn't be an extension. They shouldn't be able to hold up their head. They need to be nice and floppy and loose, which is the healthiest position for them. So if you know a mom who's got a kid that is not latching, their latch is breaking, who isn't swallowing, they're gassy, they might be having reflux, send them our way. Tag them in this video, let them talk to one of the doctors and let them know that there is a different route and that it doesn't have to be that way, and happy eating, smiling, pooping babies are the best ones to have. You love on them the most. Talk to you guys soon.